A truck slowly drives through the streets of Italy, looking for kids. It's loaded with sweets that they can't resist. The driver has orders to deliberately target children. The more, the better. The truck stops, and free samples of chocolate are handed out to curious, wide-eyed children. But there's a catch. The chocolate isn't real. And this won't be the last time the company targets kids. Soon, it will build a global empire with children as its biggest customers. This company's story is insane. Its owner became the richest person in Italy by selling fake chocolate. But no one cared, and people didn't feel cheated. In fact, everyone celebrated. The New York Times called him a real-life Willy Wonka, and the Italian government celebrated by issuing a postage stamp with the fake chocolate product on a gold background. You've heard of his products. Chances are you've consumed them. This one has a cult following. How did this fake chocolate turn into a global sensation? How did one man manage to build an empire that made him richer than the owner of Ferrari? And why didn't anyone care that this wasn't even real chocolate? His story begins in a tiny Italian bakery. But it doesn't start with him. It starts with his dad, Pietro Ferrero, a pastry chef who was determined to create delicious, affordable chocolate treats. But Pietro had a problem. Chocolate is made from cocoa, and cocoa was nearly impossible to find. Europe was being torn apart by the First World War, and ingredients were scarce. So Pietro used hazelnuts and mixed them with sugar and a tiny bit of cocoa to create blocks of thick paste called pasta gianduia. It wasn't chocolate, but it tasted like chocolate. It was sold in loaves and had to be cut with a knife. Surprisingly, people loved it, and it quickly became a regional favorite. The demand grew, and soon, pasta gianduia was a bestseller across Italy. But then, tragedy struck. Pietro passed away at the age of 51, leaving his son Michele and brother Giovanni to take over the business. Uncle and nephew made a great team, and sales increased. Then came another tragedy. Giovanni also passed away, leaving Michele alone and in charge of an expanding business. Michele had insatiable ambition and wanted to make something new, so he converted the blocks of pasta gianduia into a creamy paste that could be spread on bread, packaged it in jars, and launched a new product called Super Crema. He sent trucks full of it across Italy, with instructions to hand out samples to children for free. If he could hook kids, soon they would convert their parents. It worked. Sales skyrocketed, and for quite some time the business grew like crazy. But then out of nowhere, Michele was smacked with a brutal problem. The Italian government said his product wasn't real chocolate, so he couldn't brand it as a chocolate spread. Would people still buy it if they knew it was fake chocolate? It seemed like this was the end of the company. But Michele wasn't going to give up so easily. In 1964, he rebranded Super Crema as a hazelnut spread called Nutella and relaunched it. It was magic. Sales shot through the roof. He built on the momentum and expanded into other countries. Soon, Nutella factories sprung up across Europe. But Michele had learned a valuable lesson. He could no longer rely on a single product. He needed to diversify. He set his sights on Germany. Targeting kids had worked in the past, so he tried it again. In 1968, he launched Kinder, a brand aimed specifically at children, with products like Kinder Surprise and Kinder Bueno. Kinder literally means children in German. But almost as soon as he had started, he was stopped by a problem. He couldn't find a place to produce his sweets. What he did next is still controversial to this day. In a reckless move, he converted old missile factories into candy production facilities. Some say by targeting kids and by housing his production in bomb factories, he weaponized candy. In any case, it worked. Michele's success with Nutella and Kinder was just the beginning. A few years later, he launched Ferrero Rocher, a luxurious chocolate packaged in iconic gold foil. Just like his other products, Ferrero Rocher was low on chocolate and high on other ingredients, like wafers and hazelnuts. But people liked it, and it soon became one of Ferrero's most popular products. In the meantime, Nutella had continued its explosive growth and was now being sold in stores across the United States. And that's when all the troubles started. They began with legal action against the company, but they would end in death and tragedy. Ferrero was slapped with a class action lawsuit for misleading and false marketing claims. The company claimed Nutella was part of a nutritious breakfast, and that it had health benefits. It was a lie. Nutella had dangerously high sugar and fat content. Ferrero would eventually change its marketing claims and pay out $3 million to quietly settle the lawsuit. By this point, Michele had grown old and tired. He'd been grooming his eldest son to take his place, but that wasn't going to happen. In 2011, amidst the ongoing lawsuit, Michele's son tragically died of a heart attack while biking in Cape Town, South Africa. Michele himself passed away shortly afterwards, at the age of 89. At the time of his death, he was the world's 22nd richest person, with a net worth of over 25 billion. During his life, Michele had expanded the company so aggressively that its products were now sold in 160 countries. But do you want to know something truly nuts? Ferrero has become so massive that it now single-handedly consumes 25% of the world's hazelnut supply. If you enjoyed that, please subscribe. It would really help us.